creating stress on our bodies, and we are succumbing to those, and cancer is an outcome of that. Cancer in some ways is one of the easier disease reversal programs that we get to work with, because it literally works on 3 different realms. What are they?
It's the bad fats is what feeds it. Sugar feeds it. Low in oxygen. So if you take away what feeds it, it has nowhere else to go but just to disappear. Now, I'm not saying that it just goes like overnight, but your body really goes, oh my goodness. You're filling up with wheatgrass. You're getting that oxygen in that you need. You're doing deep breaths. You're doing a lot of laughter. You're not feeding it the sugars. And I even mean the fruit sugars, because the fruit, you develop fruit to be so sweet. It wasn't really that sweet before. So, backing off from that, backing off from the bad fats, and even some of the good fats. You don't want too much of that during that time. So it just starts backing off.
In the cancer world, it's the big C scare word,
right?
And we all, they say, have cancer cells every day in our body. When we wake up, basically, we start our days off. It's just a mutation of a cell. It's a cell that's changed. It was lacking something. It wasn't energetically happy at that time. When you do live blood analysis work, you can see those things happening, and it's just real eye-opening. But to just eliminate those programs and start the new ones, it makes those changes.
And I think if you go into it with the attitude, I'm going to kill this cancer, I think that's a negative right away.
Okay.
So you're already setting your body up for this negative. I'm going to kill something. I'm going to try to I'm going to kill this cancer. And if you just stop feeding it, it just starts going back, and it starts doing what our bodies naturally do for itself. Our bodies, look at the abuse we put on our bodies. It just keeps ticking. It just keeps trying. So we just back off from it.
Yeah, if I could add to that, and I'll have you expand on it, is I put out a newsletter recently, and I talked about how so many people get cancer, breast cancer, prostate cancer, and they cut out the body part. They cut out the prostate, or they take the breasts off, and they've never really addressed the underlying cause, the reason why they got it in the first place.
Exactly. That's exactly. I've known friends that have, an acquaintance of ours who, both her sisters had their breasts removed because the mother had cancer and the aunt had cancer, so the doctor convinced him it's preventative. Well, how about let's teach people how to eat to not get it to begin with? And it's very disturbing. We had an ad in the paper where a young mother was dying of cancer, so all of her friends were getting together and making scrapbooks for her 8 and 10-year-old. And I tried very hard to get a hold of those people through the newspaper to talk to that mother. Why build a scrapbook? Just keep mom alive.
Yeah.
Build health.
Build health.
Build your
stop
immune
doing
system
what
up,
you're
and the
doing.
cancer will go away.
And I could get nowhere, and it's very hard when you see things like that and you want to help, but you can't because, I'll let her know, or I'll get a hold of them, or but nobody really does.
So what about genetics? How much of a role does that play, do you think?
I think genetics plays some, but I think what we put on the plate of what our mother ate and our grandmother ate plays a big part of it also.
Sure.
My family all died pretty young, 40, 41. My mother was 61. So I'm determined I'm not going to go down that same road. I have all my relatives are they're overweight. I'm trying to encourage them what we can do, and it's not just the weight, but it's that creates the diabetes and it creates the other stuff.
Genetics has everything to do with it, but at the same time, you can make genetic changes on a cellular level based on just thoughts and food alone can create entire new genetic strains. But it takes time. It's not something that happens overnight.
Yeah, we have the control.
We do ultimately have the control.
And that's kind of what we teach at Angels Health Institute, is we really try to empower everybody that goes there that they are their own doctor, and we teach them how to learn about their own body and to get to feel it and get in touch and tune with their body. And our goal is when they go home that they have enough tools and enough education to continue the process, because there's no end to it. It's not the destination that we're after, it's the journey, and there's always a learning curve on there, and we can never stop learning enough.
And there's so many people out there. I've learned from every single book I've ever read, from every single clinic I've ever gone to. I've learned from every single one of them. We learn from everybody. We learn from a stranger on the street. Or even if it's a negative, it turns into a positive because it's something we wouldn't do. So we always learn. It's just a learning curve.
Great. Just a couple more questions. How do you know that it's working? How do you know if you still have a deficiency? How do you test?
Well, we do blood work every 6 months, like clockwork. I believe we need the doctors for certain things. We need them to tell us what's wrong and then get the heck out and take care of it ourselves as much as we possibly can. But we do blood work. We keep our metals tested. We do blood, urine, saliva, hair. We always keep those up because if we're missing minerals, we need to find out, okay, what do we need to do with this? What do I need to add? What do I need to take away? What do I oversupply? And so, because we can't tell by looking at ourselves if everything's okay inside. It's like, the first sign of a heart attack is a heart attack. So we always have to keep ourselves updated on our own bodies. And we need to find a doctor that's going to do that for us. And if our doctor's not doing it or says, oh, I don't think you need that test, then you need to find another doctor.
Yeah.
That's
Okay.
all for you.
What are a couple of things people could do to just get started on the road to health? Something simple.
Green smoothie.
Okay.
I really believe that because when you start, because not probably what people like to eat their greens, but you put in there with some fruit, and then a little bit later start backing off with as much fruit, and you have more greens in it. Start having even green juices, put it in a cheesecloth bath and wring it out once in a while so you do something different. Start adding stuff, adding ground flax to your stuff, start adding more salads, start adding the good oils. And pretty soon when you start adding, you automatically start taking away because you're starting to feel better. So you're like, wow, what else can I add? So I try and encourage people, don't go and just throw everything away like I did. I mean, I came home, my poor kids, I got rid of everything. We just add stuff. You start adding a little bit more healthy stuff. Just eat a raw meal. One day just eat nothing but raw food.
Okay.
And I'd go towards the wheatgrass side of it, just because I'm real passionate about the wheatgrass. But we're actually doing a kind of a test out there with a senior home, and we're not going to take anything away. We're just going to add wheatgrass to their program and do a 1-year analysis on where they're at now and where they're going to be a year from now. And so we've started that program up there. So kind of like the wheatgrass or the green smoothie challenge, this is going to be a kind of a wheatgrass challenge. Again, it's just a small amount, low footprint on the planet, and making some huge changes. We hope, and I believe we will, in the lives of individuals by just this little ounce or two in the morning and at noon, and making dramatic changes, getting them off of their medications, which have all the side effects that they don't like. These seniors are spending $500 to $1,000 a month on medications. They're just strapped, and all we have to do is introduce an ounce or two of great green product to them, and they're going to make some changes. It can be dramatic, and I'd like the whole world to see that and see the results.
Okay. Great. How do we find out more about you? How does somebody find out more about Angels Health Institute?
You can go on the internet and just Google.
Yeah, Angels Health Institute. All right, I'll post it right on here.
Thank you.
We also have another site, Angels Organic Farm,
Okay.
that has information on there a little bit about our farm and the wheatgrass program, but it should be a little bit on that on the Angels Health Institute site also. But there's a real link between the food and the institute both, and it's kind of one of the unique programs. Most of the institutes are out buying their food and understanding where your food comes from and creating a true healthy individual is a little bit touchy trying to get it done with some of the food that's on the market.
Yeah, I bet. All right. Well, thank you both very much.
Well, thank you.